In this video, I'm going to be ranking the top 5 best cards at each position right now in NBA 2K23 My Team. As you guys know, with the release of Season 8, we've gotten so many great cards in My Team, so I wanted to go over the top 5 best cards at each position in the game. So let me know in the comment section down below what you guys would change about my top 5s, and just let me know your guys' favorite and best cards at each position in the game right now. But starting off here with the top 5 best point guards, I think number 1 has to be the endgame Luka Doncic. I mean, he's an endgame card, 6'7" at the 1, 6'8" wingspan. Like I said, he's an endgame, so 99 every single stat, every single Hall of Fame badge. He's got perfect defensive tendencies, and then he does have that really good jump shot, perfect dribble sigs, and perfect dunk packages. I mean, you can't get really much better than Luka Doncic besides making a taller point guard, and that's why I do think Jokic is at number 2. I think you could still make an argument for Jokic potentially being a little bit better than Luka just because of his size. He's 6'11" at the 1, 7'3" wingspan, still a great defender in game because of his player model, his wingspan, that type of stuff. He's got a great jump shot as well for a card that's 6'11". Like, this is a really good release with the Eric Paschall base, Oscar Robertson upper on very quick timing, and then he's also got great dribble sigs and good dunk packages. So Jokic was the consensus number 1 point guard in the game for a while, but I do think Luka now has kind of topped him a little bit and slightly gonna be better. So I got Luka at number 1 and Jokic at number 2. For number 3, I do got Ben Simmons just because of his defense at the point guard position. The fact that he's 6'11" at the 1, 7' wingspan. He's still probably the best point guard defender in the game with his size and his player model. I think you gotta have Ben Simmons as the top 5 point guard. And I think once we get his endgame version, which should be coming in the next couple of weeks, I would expect, once we get that new Ben Simmons card, at point guard, his endgame, I think he'll be the best point guard in my team. For now, though, I do think he's going to be at number 3. At number 4, I do have Invincible Cade. I'm pretty high on this card. I think he's got a great jump shot, and he's just a solid all-around point guard. He's 6'8" at the 1, 7'1" wingspan. We know he's an invincible card, so amazing stats, amazing badges. His jump shot is definitely a lot better than his previous Dark Matter version. He's now got the D-Mitch base, Oscar upper on very quick timing. I think is a great jump shot. He's got really good dribble sigs and amazing at going to the rim, for a 6'8" point guard, and does have great defensive tendencies. So I do have Invincible Cade as the 4th best point guard in my team. Now coming in at the number 5 spot to round out the top 5 best PGs, I do think is actually going to be Doug Christie. As crazy as that might sound, saying that a free Doug Christie from the all-time spotlight set is a top 5 point guard, but I truly believe him, man. He's 6'6" at the 1, 6'9" wingspan. He's a great defender with his stats, his badges, and his defensive tendencies. And then you take a look at his animations, and this is where the card really separates himself from a lot of different point guards with that jump shot. He's pretty much just a better LaMelo Ball. He's got a better jump shot than LaMelo. He moves a lot better in game. He's better going to the basket. He's maybe even a little bit better defensively. So I do think Doug Christie right now in my team is going to be the 5th best point guard. But now to go on to the top 5 best shooting guards in the game. At the number 1 spot, I still think you got to give it to the endgame KD. I mean, the card I think is the best endgame in the game. Really comes down to player model, size, and wingspan, all that type of stuff. Because at number 2, I got Paul George. And then at number 3, I do have Rashard Lewis. Once again, it just comes down to player model, right? Because all 3 of these cards are all going to be around the same height, same wingspan. They're all going to be endgame, so they all have the maxed out stats, the maxed out badges, right? The crazy good jump shot, the perfect dribble sigs, and the perfect dunk packages. So there's really no difference between a Kevin Durant, a Paul George, right, and a Rashard Lewis. There's really no difference. Like, we take a look at Paul George, same thing, 6'9" at the 2, 6'11" wingspan. The only reason why I have Paul George over Rashard Lewis is I do think he has a much better player model in game, and also does get some better slashing animations, which you can kind of notice in game if you do try out Paul George. He feels like he plays elite level defense because of his size, his wingspan, his player model, all that type of stuff. But then I do have Rashard Lewis as the 3rd best shooting guard. At the number 4 spot, kind of crazy to say, but I do think Invincible T-Mac is only the 4th best shooting guard in the game, which just shows how stacked the shooting guard position is, because Invincible T-Mac is still a top tier card. 6'8" at the 2, 7'2" wingspan, still one of the quicker and easier jump shots to green in the game, with the KPJ base, Oscar upper on very quick timing. I just wish this card maybe had a better size up. I think that's the one big thing to see on his endgame card, is the fact that he'll have better dribble sigs and be able to move at a lot higher of a level. But Invincible T-Mac still for sure a top 5 shooting guard. Now actually coming in at the number 5 spot, I do think is Danny Granger, a very underrated shooting guard in my team. I think this card's actually a beast. He's 6'9" at the 2, 7'1" wingspan. This card's stats are amazing across the board. Really doesn't have, any flaws when it comes to this card. He can do everything. He's got such a good jump shot. The KPJ base, Kevin Love upper on very quick timing is actually one of my favorite jump shots in the game. It's such an easy jump shot to time with. He's also got amazing dribble sigs, pretty good dunk packages, and also perfect defensive tendencies. So these are going to be my top 5 best shooting guards currently in my team. Now to go on to the top 5 best small forwards. At the number 1 spot, I do have invincible Victor Wembanyama. I mean, that's pretty obvious. This card is still the best card in the game and will most likely be the best card until we get endgame Taco Fall, Yao Ming, and maybe a couple other names, because he's 7'5" at small forward, 8-foot wingspan, and then he's got such a good jump shot, pretty much perfect dribble sticks. He moves crazily fast in game, and this card on the defensive end is an absolute joke. So Victor Wembanyama easily going to be the best small forward. At the number 2 spot, still a great small forward, like one of the best cards in the game. The fact that he's only the second best small forward is kind of crazy, and that is the Hero Bol Bol. 7'2" at the 3, 7'7" wingspan, great player model on Bol Bol. He's a great defender. He can kind of play like a lock, but then also still score the ball at a very high level with great dribble sigs and a very solid jump shot. So I do think Bol Bol is going to be the second best small forward. At the number 3 spot, I actually do have Paolo Banchero. I know he's an endgame card, so I know he's not like, the craziest card in game. Like, I know a lot of people aren't buying him and he's not really in a lot of people's lineups, but he's still 6'10" at small forward, 7-foot wingspan, still does have all the endgame sigs, endgame jump shot, the perfect stats, badges, tendencies, that I do think he has to be a top 5 small forward. Maybe if you wanted to put a card like Chet over him, you definitely could if you wanted to. I'm not the biggest fan of Chet. I just don't like that jump shot as much as a lot of people do, and I feel like his sigs are good, but doesn't move as fast as I would like him to. But he still is a 7-foot small forward, 7'6" wingspan, and a very similar small forward to Bol Bol. So for sure going to be in this top 5. And then at the number 5 spot, I wasn't really sure who to put, because there's like Bird, there's LeBron, there's a couple other small forwards I can think of. I think I'll just go Bird. I can't really think of anybody else. I'll go Larry Bird as the 5th best small forward. Just really well-rounded, does everything decently well at the small forward position. But now to go on to my top 5 best power forwards in the game. At the number 1 spot, still going to be Manute Bol. I mean, this card's an absolute joke at power forward. The fact that he's 7'7" with an 8'5" wingspan and one of the best player models in the game, and he can play power forward, still absolutely ridiculous that they gave him the power forward eligibility. And then you take a look at his stats. They're pretty well rounded. He's got a decent jump shot, very solid dribble sigs, but it's mainly just due to his size, his wingspan, and his player model makes him the best power forward in my team. Now coming in at the number 2 spot is actually going to be endgame D-Rob. I think this card is so amazing at power forward, especially with that lefty release. He's 7'1" at the 4, 7'5" wingspan. He has a great player model in game, and like I said, I like this endgame jump shot, the KPJ base, Sadiq Bey upper on very quick timing. That's what every single endgame has for their jump shot. I actually like it a lot more on the lefty releases. So for Bill Russell and D-Rob, I do like their jump shots a little bit more. Feels like it's a lot easier to green with and a lot more consistent of a jump shot. So I do have endgame D-Rob as the second best power forward. At number 3, very similar power forward card to D-Rob is going to be endgame Joel. Pretty much the exact same power forward. Really comes down to player model with the preference, for the jump shot, and also just the defensive animations I get. So I do think D-Rob, mainly because I like his jump shot a tad bit more because it's a lefty release, I do think he's going to be slightly better than Embiid. At the number 4 spot is still going to be the Invincible Diesel. This card an absolute powerhouse at power forward. He's 7'1" at the power forward position, 7'7" wingspan. Still has that crazy good player model, still has a really good jump shot, the Montrezl Harrell base, John Wall upper on very quick timing. And yeah, Shaq's just still got one of the best player models, and I do think is going to be the 4th best power forward. And then coming in at the number 5 spot to round out my top 5 best power forwards in the game, I do actually think it's going to be Bill Russell. I think this card is superly underrated at power forward. Same thing with D-Rob. He's got that endgame jump shot, but he does have a lefty release. Right, he's left-handed when he shoots the ball, so I do like his jump shot a lot more compared to other righty end games. And also another underrated thing about Bill Russell is just the defensive animations he gets in game are so overpowered. He gets tons of plucks animations, tons of blocks, and just everything about this card is amazing at power forward. So these are going to be my top 5 best power forwards in the game. And now to go on to the last position, the top 5 best centers. once again, Manute Bol gotta be at number 1. 7'7", 8'5" wingspan, can dominate against every other center card in the game, and he's just so overpowering. At the number 2 spot, I do actually have Rick Smith, mainly just due to his jump shot. I know a lot of people would put Yao Ming over him, and I think that's a very close debate. If you wanted to put Yao over Rick, I mean, it's really close. I just like Rick Smith's jump shot a tad bit more, and that's why I do have him over Yao Ming. He's 7'7", or sorry, he's 7'4" at the center position and does have a 7'7" wingspan. But like I said, it's really that jump shot that puts him over the top compared to a card like Yao Ming, in my opinion. But once again, very, very close at that center position. For the number 4 spot, I actually do have the endgame D-Rob. Even though he plays much better at power forward, there's just not too many centers in the game, and I think he's got enough size with the defensive stats, badges all being maxed out. The fact this card gets crazy good animations, I think he can still play center. And then at the number 5 spot, I do have Invincible Kristaps. Card once again maybe could be a top 5 power forward, but since there's not too many centers, I wanted to have him here in the top 5 best centers in my team. He's still 7'3" with a 7'6" wingspan and a really good pick and pop 5. So yeah guys, that's going to be my top 5 cards at each position right now in the game. These are going to be my top 5 best point guards, top 5 best shooting guards, small forwards, power forwards, and centers as well. But like I said earlier, let me know in the comment section down below what you guys would change about my top 5s, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.